This is Teh Tarik Hour. Hello, welcome back.
Me again.
Tarik Hour. We are back again for another episode. As always, for those of you who watch,
Azreen.
yes, I am Azreen, and this is Ah Kit.
Okay lah, we are skip our advertisement part lah.
Why?
Because every time we are doing the advertisement. Because
Don't forget, share, like, subscribe, tetaihour@gmail.com. Okay. Hey, we need to do this, man, because this is part of our system.
we just do the what you call that the very big branding in our preview.
Alright. For those of you who want the T-shirt of Teh Tarik Hour, let us know. Maybe we could start printing, selling some.
Souvenir.
Yeah, who knows? Merchandise. But enough about that. Let's talk about today's topic about. If you saw the title, it is about vernacular schools, or at least national, not really language school,
Language school, right?
Specialized school
In Malaysia.
This is something that's a bit on the discussion in a while, depending on when this goes up, this might be old news, but like at least Ah Kit, you read or you heard about the court challenging or NGOs challenging the court about the vernacular schools and whether or not it's constitutional.
Because this Chinese school and Tamil school already, I think, in more than 200 years in Malaysia since the British.
Even before the federal constitution was created, basically.
So if let's say the NGO people who are trying to against, to close down all the Chinese school, I think it's not really can do that lah. I think a lot of Chinese will be like do the.
Well, that's the thing. Like, let's look at the issue first. Okay, first thing first. Is it considered constitutional to have vernacular school in Malaysia? Based by the Apex Court decided, yes, it is constitutional. Vernacular school, Chinese and Tamil school have a right to be in Malaysia. So we have no right to abolish it lah.
Even they want to do the appeal, the court also mentioned you just wasting the time and money to do the appeal.
But like I read a bit about it, and the position that the NGOs are coming from saying that because of vernacular schools, certain other schools are not given proper funding, like Tafiz school or like Muslim religion school get less funding because sometimes the focus will go more on vernacular schools rather than religion school
But
so those are like and again, there's also the some of the points that they make is that because Malay is considered the official language and is the language that we must conduct in official capacity. So that means that, like, if you are teaching is considered an official capacity, then it should be a Malay focused education.
So Azreen, because last time our Teh Tarik Hours have done one education system. I think the education, we talk about the education. We compare with Singapore and Malaysia, the education systems. You remember the one
yeah,
of the
I feel
episodes?
like on that one I'm a bit like,
I think
there is no you don't want there to be vernacular school, is it?
Yeah, because we not say I don't want, because yes, I mentioned because we want we call it in the national school, which is you are Malaysians, you are studying in the same school, all in the same school in Malaysia. I don't want, because for nowadays Malaysia education is like, you got the international school or some other, or a lot of the school is different. Some kind of very large, very diversities.
Very mixed.
Mixed. So we don't have any one language for everyone to one school for every Malaysian who are studying in one school. So they will make us the Malaysian people. Maybe it's not in unions lah.
But I think like my position is that there is no need to abolish vernacular school, but rather it's more about strengthening national school, public school, right?
national
Because
school. Yeah,
the reason why most people chose to go to vernacular school is either like they
keep their own mother tongue or mother language.
one is that, but as I've come to realize recently is that there's increase of Malays going to vernacular school as well because
Yep.
better facilities, better focus on English and Chinese as a language because apparently a lot of these parents say that knowing Mandarin is a good thing to have in the real world because you can deal with China or like you can do businesses in Chinese and all this like in Mandarin. So it's a good skill to have.
I think this is the economy issues lah. With the economies who have because Chinese has got the power right now. It's like
Chinese have the power.
Compared with last old times lah. You think like last time, how come the English, the British, we are learning the English? Because the English, the British is it's a national language. All the world maybe is how many percentage who are speaking in English, right? So the English is very popular in all the international language.
Yeah,
so come today's Chinese is also one of the very popular language. No matter you in China or outside of China, you also listen people who speak Chinese. So today is Chinese become one of the international language. It's not really
it's a commerce language.
Common language.
Commerce like for trading, for all this.
Yep.
Having understanding of Chinese is a very useful skill to have.
It's not at the what you call it, the races or whatever.
It's not about national pride or anything.
Yes,
it's about is this a useful skill? And for a lot of Malaysians nowadays, or at least as I can tell, they understand that being able to speak Chinese is a good skill to have.
Yeah, you can. You be able to speak one more language, which means you can be one more skill I can say one more skill, and then to communicate with some other.
Of course, I understand your perspective by saying that some might use this as a weapon by saying, "Oh, look, they're trying to kill off the Malay language or kill off the Malay culture."
Then people is speaking in English and kill off all the Malay also. Same things, what? Right? The people.
I don't know to that extent, but like it is like diminishing the power of the Malay language, But the thing is, right? Instead of putting fear as a way to, promote Malay language, we should promote Malay language by showing its beauty, Like there is beauty in Malay language, right? Like.
Malaysia, our national language is still Malay Bahasa. I think let's say I'm not saying hapuskan.
But the thing is, right, you say our Malay language, but if you speak to like a lot of the street level of Malays, do they actually speak really proper Malay though? How many people actually can speak like proper Malay?
Proper Malay, but Malay, it sound like actually it sound like English. You see, go in English. You go in British. British means some part of like Liverpool. Some people is cannot. Is speaking in English. The Liverpool,
but there is like different way of speaking, right?
Yeah, it's something like you go to the Kuantan. Maybe Kuantan people is different kind of a Bahasa or different kind of a Malay, right? So, but then still come to the general Bahasa. Everybody can understand. Even I'm very disappointed. Even some of the Bangla or whatever who are working in security guards,
workers,
even they cannot speak Bahasa, cannot speak English. What else I can speak to them? Chinese, don't know. What else language? But they are still the point. How come this kind of people you can enter Malaysia to work?
That's easy because capitalism. It's cheaper to hire foreign workers.
At least you can speak our language, At least you can speak Bahasa.
If I was the Bangladesh worker, right, and someone offer me a job, and they don't care whether I speak Bahasa or not, I'll just take it, whatever, man, because money is money, what?
No, this is education. If let's say this group of
but that
people,
person didn't go to school in Malaysia though.
No, but before they go to Malaysia, if let's say there are legal lines of worker in Malaysia, they have to go to maybe education. They have at least can speak can communicate with people.
Yeah, of course, ideally, if you are a foreign worker coming to Malaysia, the legal way you would have all these qualifications.
Yeah,
but like I said, capitalism. It doesn't matter.
No, that one is maybe it's illegal.
Yes, it's definitely most likely illegal because it's cheaper to hire illegal workers because if something happens, if I'm a boss and I hire illegal worker, right? Let's say I decided I don't want to pay his salary. What he going to do? Go to police He illegal worker he will get deported first. I win
Yeah,
So that's the fault of the boss
this
rather than
come
the foreign
to
worker.
the government issues, man. We
Well, I
got
mean,
come back here.
but let's go back to vernacular school and the idea that let's just come. I mean, look, it's already decided. Vernacular school has a right to exist in Malaysia, and I personally don't mind the existence of vernacular school because, like, yes, you want to protect your culture, your
Mother
language, and all
tongue.
this, whatever,
Mm.
and that's well within your right. But we shouldn't have to, like, if you want to promote our national language, it shouldn't be done like by attacking other language one. It should be about promoting your language more in a better way to really entice to people and say like, oh look, there's beauty in our language. We should be comfortable to accept it, while still bringing up other languages as well. We shouldn't just bring up Malay. We should also equally bring up Chinese, Tamil, Mandarin, and whatever languages that should be important to our identity, Like, do you still believe that there is a need to abolish vernacular school or not have it as much?
For my because I have mentioned before, national school is very important. It's one, like, every races we have the same language in one school. The first thing, we have our own language. Like, I'm Chinese, I have my own language. You are Malay, you have your own language. But if in Malaysia, national language is still Bahasa. Even you sing the national songs, it's Bahasa what? This is so important. If let's say for I'm not saying the Chinese school, I'm not highlight must keep the Chinese school and Tamil school. It can be combined in the national school, but there may be primary school primary school. It can be 6 years in this with our mother tongue, Tamil or Chinese. But after the secondary school, we must have the same. It's called national school, but we are maybe in English or Bahasa in one language. This is why I prefer that kind of way.
The thing is, like, you're removing freedom of choice in terms of like education from there, right?
The education, today the education, like, a lot of international school people are going the IGCSE, and then IGCSE is the international SPM lah. We call it international SPM lah. So, why not Malaysia? We try to. If I know this because in Singapore, it's not many Singaporeans go to the international school. But Malaysia here is a lot of Malaysian who got the money.
They will go to international school.
Go to international school.
I mean but that's because, like, again, facilities and then the quality of education is better in a private or international school and in all honesty, Malaysian public schools not well funded. I mean, we both come from national public school and we know how badly that used to be. Right? I mean, sure, there's a sense of camaraderie that we as different races can come together and really lepak together. Like, you go makan time, there's always a group of like Malay, Chinese, Indian hanging out. Like, even though sometimes we will do like, Malay will play football and then Chinese will play basketball, but we will still like hang out together and all this right? But the thing is, right, the level of education for public schools is not good enough. There's, I don't know maybe it's different now, but when it was during our time, at the very least, public education was often looked down upon because, like, it's very terrible unless you want the top tier school.
So government should have more fun, go to the education, because education.
But we need to build more highways, bro. Who is going to pay for the highway? And we need to build more skyscraper.
No, Azreen. Because I think government have the budget, because last time the
we don't have budget though.
hospitalities last time I thought Malaysia the medicals is very not good very suck. But
actually our medical is
when I went to the public hospitals I feel shocked. It's very, very good, the facilities,
the treatment and everything, right?
Treatments, yes. So we can do it because we are lack of fun. Maybe education is in the same thing also. We are lack of the fun to build our very good educations.
No, that's obviously a thing that, like, there are really good educators and they are really good people, teachers and everything.
Yes.
But the thing is, if they don't get properly funded, they're not
Maybe
going
they
to stay
have
here.
I don't have any very good system to do the education system. Yeah, because we are want to implement. We have the very like I think very talented guys who are manage the education.
Isn't our education minister like a few of them is not really that good or somehow? I don't know. Like I seem to recall like few cases where education ministers say things that probably doesn't reflect them as a good education minister. They say some pretty stupid things. But maybe that's a different story together. Because like again, the idea here is like the main focus here is like the idea of vernacular schools and how it's like we have different language schools. Is that still necessary? Or is there a way for us to approach it without having to abolish it? Do you think like in the next 10 to 20 years, will people still prefer vernacular schools over public schools or national schools, I guess?
No idea.
Like if you have a child now, right?
Mm.
Would you send them to vernacular school or public school?
Vernacular school.
Really?
Because what I'm thinking is Chinese is quite important nowadays. This is one thing. It's very like it's one of the skill. It's not the race, It's one of the skill you have to
But
communicate
correct
with
me,
people.
am I wrong? Is Chinese not available as a language course in public school, or is that
Last time my time lah. Some of the parents they send the kids, they send the children to go to the national school, especially Kebangsaan school without the Chinese. But some of them they can't speak even a single Chinese. They know also cannot recognize the Chinese character. So how come those old days all the Chinese family they send the children to the Malay school without no Chinese? That time they think Chinese is not really important.
is it?
They are in house they can speak Chinese. Okay,
That's good enough.
good enough in house. But you are in Malaysia, you have to speak Bahasa and English. It's more than enough.
Oh. Sorry. You got excited and you hit the thing.
Oh, sorry. But you in Malaysia, you speak Bahasa and English is more than enough. But today's, the people change the mind. English, yes, important. But Chinese is one of the skill nowadays.
Important skill to have.
Yes.
And throughout all this, Malay is like the least
So because
useful. Right.
Malay is a national language, and then Malay, and because if let's say today our Malaysia is like Japan, then you guys will be like, the Chinese should go to learn Bahasa, for sure, right? It's because the economy.
I mean, that's true.
The
It's like,
skill.
yes, because the thing is like when you say Japan, right? Even Japan is like they're still very homogenous and their ability to speak English or Chinese or other languages is still not that good. They only speak Japanese.
Yep.
But it's enough for them to survive because their economy, or at least they have the foundation of an economy that led them to become a developed country Whereas we as a developing country, we need to have all these skills in order to become better But that's the thing, like we come at the fork in the road, bro. Like, do we just forgo Malay in order to strengthen our economy by focusing on English and Chinese? Or do we put our foot down and say Malay is necessary because it is our identity?
But why not we are focused like because I would like I always to take the Singapore as an example is try to become is actually English is a mainstream language for all the races, and then who are interested in studying in Chinese, then people will go and study in Chinese in
Yeah,
one
but
school.
that's where all this NGO come out. You decided to they say that because you focus on all this on language, we get left behind the culture of our
Some more English because a lot of those academics they use the word terms is in English, so we are good in. Even Bahasa or Mandarin, it's not good to use the academics, the language. If let's say we are using English, is because all the academic, all the books, all the resources is from the Western side first, then come to us. Of course, no need to translate to different kind of language.
Do you think like the best system will be something like a public school
Mm-mm.
taught in English? but you have the option to learn Chinese or Malay
Yep.
as a cultural language.
But if let's say for me to decide for me lah, of course in school, in primary school, secondary school, even at university, the mainstream language is English.
So you want it's like from primary till secondary.
University.
English is the education language.
Education language. But if let's say you are Malay, you have the option to choose the Chinese
As a cultural language to learn, is
the
it?
cultural language to learn. But for Chinese, you have to learn the national language, Bahasa, from primary school.
Okay.
From primary school. And then Chinese is your own language. You have the options
To learn as well.
the option to learn. You want to, English, Bahasa, enough. I don't want to learn Chinese. If let's say you are because you are Chinese, you in house, maybe some in house is speak in Chinese already, then no need to speak, you don't need to in school to speak
But
Chinese.
you don't think some parents will be like, oh, what are you doing? You are forcing my child to learn Bahasa when
No,
their
You
cultural
have options. You see, the option is there. The cultural language, even the Tamil is put inside the cultural language. So in the primary school, you can learn 4 language. If let's say English is the mainstream already, everyone we meet you are Indians or you are Chinese, you are whoever, you are Malay. We are speaking English, but in the culture, if let's say I'm interested in Bahasa, because Bahasa is a force. Because you are stay in Malaysia, you have to speak. At least you can speak, and then you can go governments to do settle your documents. At least But the third language, then you can the optional. Is a Chinese is optional.
You don't think that's a bit too overwhelming? Having to learn 3 languages.
But because you are Malaysian, you cannot speak Bahasa. I don't think it's a good way lah.
I mean, true. You're in Malaysia. Ideally you should be able to speak Malay lah, like Bahasa lah.
But
Right.
you can speak language. Is not say you are very. Professionals in one language. You can speak communicate with people who are speak
But
Bahasa.
I mean, at the very least, you'd be able to communicate effectively with that language lah.
But
basically.
for academic wise, should be English lah.
I feel like it's a very controversial thing to take lah, because like a lot of people will say, like, well, I mean, English is like penjajah, colonizer language, so we shouldn't be promoting it too much lah. But I am realistic in
But
the
for
sense that
academic wise, yes,
it is necessary as a language because like
because we want to hapus the
How-
international
what to
school
do?
also. Because we have to hapus international school.
okay, that's a bit too harsh of a hapus.
Because international school it take out our culture. Because the people who are join the international school, it's different already.
Yeah, I mean they don't really promote Malaysian culture.
Yeah, the
right?
Malaysian culture, because we have to fight with those international schools. Nowadays, Malaysian international school a lot, bro.
I mean there is there is a market for it because, of course, for one thing you get to socialize with people who are higher net worth, higher and everything, but also the fact that it gives you a more global perspective, right? That's always a good thing to have if you want to work outside of Malaysia,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. But yes, because of we have to keep our what the difference if let's say today you send your child to the international school, it's no different with some other people who are studying international school in Thailand. It's same one. Maybe they meet the people in different, but we still in an international school.
Do you not think globalization is a good thing then? Like globalizing the mentality of the people?
Globalization is good thing, but we have to keep our own personality
Our
and
identity
our
as
own,
a
identities, yes.
Malaysian, right?
Mm-mm.
Whatnot, right? Look, I am always up for the idea that, pushing for a universal language in terms of like education.
Mm.
Like English is unfortunately or fortunately is the universal language in how we communicate globally. So it is important for people to learn English as a Malaysian lah. At the same time, I don't want us to lose our identity. So yes, there should be like at the very least, if you're non-Malay, you should at least be proactive in learning Malay lah, so that you instill that sense of national pride of being Malaysian.
Mm-mm.
But at the same time, we should still offer more access for people to learn Chinese or Tamil if they want to. Because as far as I can tell, that's not really an option for public schools right now. And the only way you can learn effectively Chinese or Tamil if you go to vernacular school, lor. Which is why I still think that the need for vernacular schools still exists today because there's no other option. Unless you go for tuition, which is like what kids want to go for more tuition lah? I don't know, man.
I think one of the country in Europe there can the people can speak at least 4 languages or 3 languages. Sweden,
sure, probably
Sweden
like
Swedish,
Netherlands or Swedish or Finnish. They speak English, French, German, whatever.
Yeah.
It is possible, and we can do it. But would our government be willing to push for that initiative? Because if they were to do that, they need to ignore all the unpopular votes, no? Because then you'll be like, the Malay majority will be thinking like, oh look, they're abandoning Malay language.
Maybe government should be take the what you call that take the tour and go and see how the Europeans how to
Bro,
cook.
if you do that, they will just go say, look at all these colonizer. We don't want to become like that. We want to strengthen even more Malay pride, okay, Malaysian pride. That's the thing that I think the biggest hurdle right now is convincing the people that this is the necessary step. Like,
I think because
I think there's too much
Malaysian
Malay
is
pride,
the population is more than 80%, 70% is Malay. They try to like I want to popularize the Bahasa as a language, whoever in Malaysia.
But the thing I find it funny, right? Because like I don't know, we always assume that Malays would prefer Malay language more. But then I read the news that, a lot of Malaysians Malay parents are sending their kids to vernacular school because they realize it's important to learn multiple language. So there's mixed signals right now. Do they want multiple language school or do they not want multiple language school schools?
I think because like for urban peoples, usually urban peoples we have mixed up with some Chinese and other peoples like foreigners. They think the language actually is a border. Maybe it's a border for communicate with people. Then I only can speak Bahasa. Maybe your perspective of view or your perspective maybe is very narrow. Then why the parents they want to choose? You can speak Chinese and speak English. Then your perspective maybe the angle will be
wider, right?
Yeah,
more.
Yeah, you can travel to go to China or no language border. Then you can go to UK, US, and no language border.
I feel like Malaysians are not seeing that benefit, right? Like being Malaysian, that you have the ability to learn Chinese and Tamil. That you can, if you learn this, your world is bigger already.
You
right?
go Indians, you have
more choices to places to go compared to like I don't know, Indonesia who only speak Bahasa Indonesia.
Yep.
We have all this ability, but we don't want to promote it lah.
How come Malaysia can in the same time we can learn few language in the same time? We not maximize it. Yeah, we could try to maximize in the school. Then everyone can be able to speak few language.
But I think like if you were to do that, it makes it too easy for the people to become better. I don't think our government, at least so far I can tell they still enjoy it when our people are separated and divided, right? Because like if only Malay speak only Malay and Chinese only speak Chinese and Indians only speak Tamil, then like we won't able to communicate to each other.
Last time, no.
United, bro. We don't want it to be united.
So the what you call it? The Malay stay in kampong, then the Chinese stay in the
commercial area.
Commercial area. They're also the Chinese kampong. And all kampong
segregated
one somewhat gated
because if together we become too powerful. That's why easier to conquer if you are divided, bro.
So only the Malay can be the government, the Chinese and go and do a business.
So actually in the end it's government fault.
They're using the British method also,
and we said this last time, right? But okay, let's not go through overthrowing or revolutionizing against the government. That's not who we are. We're just trying to ask the question, is vernacular school still necessary this day and age? And I feel like it's unfortunately necessary because national school or public schools are not giving the avenue to incorporate other languages. And I know Ah Kit is the more passionate about developing just one single system for education. Now, will Will we ever achieve that? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you feel like this will be something that Malaysian will be able to experience?
Then we are change the perspective. What the Malaysian needs. We can ask them what the Malaysian needs. The Malaysians needs can only speak in Bahasa, or the Malaysian just need to speak only in Chinese. Do you think what's the perspective of you guys?
Well, let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lively little discussion about vernacular school, language school. And, in the comments, let us know. Do you believe that we should still have vernacular schools or not? What language should be the focus for Malaysians moving forward?
Yep.
And all that fun stuff. As always, share, like, subscribe, comment if you enjoy our episode. And then we will see you guys on the next one.
Episode.
Until then, goodbye.